The air was still. It was 11 o'clock a.m. on January 26, 1972, when the quiet hum of Jot Flight 367 filled the cabin. But for Vesna Vulović, this moment would mark the beginning of a journey no one would believe. She was just another flight attendant on another flight, the kind of person who blends into the background. In the front, passengers buckled their seatbelts, chatting in that low murmur that comes from the calm before the storm. She walked down the aisle, offering a smile to each face, unaware that her life would soon be shattered into pieces, and then somehow miraculously pieced together again. On the outside, nothing was amiss. A clear blue sky stretched endlessly in every direction. But deep within the fuselage, there was an unseen threat, a hidden danger, a bomb. At 33,000 feet, the world would turn upside down. A blast tore through the plane, sending it spiraling out of control. The force was so immense that it ripped the aircraft apart, metal, smoke, and shattered glass. A violent, deafening explosion. It was as though the sky itself had cracked open, and the plane, once soaring effortlessly through the air, became nothing more than a rag doll in a violent storm. The terrifying descent lasted for what seemed like an eternity. The scream of the wind, the sense of falling, the terrifying unknown. Vesna was thrown violently from her seat, her body flung into a whirlwind of chaos. Everything around her became a blur in recognizable sounds, endless darkness, and then, packed, the world around her vanished. When Vesna regained consciousness, she was lying on the ground, but this wasn't any ordinary ground. It was cold, hard, and covered with snow. She didn't feel the crushing weight of death she'd been expecting. No. Instead, there was a strange, almost surreal stillness. A surreal clarity amid the wreckage. She should have been dead. No one survives a fall from 33,000 feet, especially without a parachute. Yet here she was, alive. The ground beneath her was the side of a mountain in the former Yugoslavia, miles from the nearest village. The wreckage of the flight scattered around her like twisted, mangled remnants of a nightmare. Her body, broken and bruised, felt like it was someone else's. It didn't make sense. She wasn't thinking about the impossible yet. She was trying to stay conscious, to keep herself alive, to understand how she could still be breathing when she should have been gone. The physical pain was overwhelming. Her bones ached, her skull throbbed. Blood soaked through her uniform and her vision blurred. But there was no time to dwell on any of that. Something in her, a primal instinct to survive, kicked in. She couldn't stay here. Vesna started to crawl. Step by agonizing step, she moved through the wreckage of the crash, each movement making her head spin. She wasn't sure how long she had been there, but she knew she had to keep going. Her legs didn't seem to work right. Her arms felt heavy. But still, she pushed forward. By the time rescue teams found her, it was hours later, too many hours to believe she had lived. She was barely conscious when they reached her. Her injuries extensive, her body battered, yet somehow still holding on. When they asked her what had happened, she could barely speak. But her mind was racing, thinking back to the explosion, to the descent, to everything that had gone wrong. She had no clear answers, only questions. The doctors who treated her couldn't explain it. They'd seen the fall data. They knew the height, the conditions. She should have died on impact, yet here she was, alive. Her survival wasn't just a miracle, it was a scientific anomaly, phenomenon that defied all logic. As Vesna began her long and painful recovery, the media descended on her. She became an international sensation, a symbol of the impossible. Headlines screamed her name, the woman who fell 33,000 feet and walked away. Experts scrambled for explanations, but no one could provide one. She was the first, the only one to survive such a fall, and she would forever be a mystery. Months passed and Vesna's body healed. But her mind was a different story. The memories haunted her, fragmented images of the explosion, the screams, the darkness of the fall. She couldn't shake the feeling that she had cheated death. And yet, as the weeks dragged on, she began to realize something even stranger. Her survival wasn't just an accident. It was something more, something inexplicable. The doctors told her that her skull had fractured during the fall, her vertebrae compressed, her internal injuries severe. Yet, there was something about her that defied all medical logic. Her resilience was a paradox. The more they looked into her, the more they realized the truth. It wasn't just luck. Vesna's body had somehow withstood forces that no human body should have been able to. The specifics were a blurper. Perhaps it was the position she fell in, or the fact that she was inside the tail section, which might have acted as a cushion. Some said it was her youth, her physical conditioning. Others insisted it was divine intervention. But no matter the reason, she had survived. She would never be the same again. The pain lingered in her bones, the trauma in her mind. She couldn't walk without a limp for a long time, and even when she did, the world felt different. The fear of falling, of being thrust into the unknown again, never left her, stayed with her like a shadow. But Vesna never saw herself as a victim. She refused to be defined by her accident. Instead, she turned her story into a lesson in human endurance and the possibility of overcoming the impossible. She went on to speak about her experience, to share her survival, and to inspire others with her resilience. In the years that followed, she would occasionally meet with other survivors of airplane crashes. But there was one thing no one could deny. Her fall had rewritten the rules of survival. No one had ever done it before, and no one has done it since. She was the woman who had fallen from the sky and walked away. And as the world tried to make sense of her miraculous survival, one thing was certain. Vesna Vulović wasn't just a survivor. She was living proof that even the most impossible feats could be achieved by the human spirit. 33,000 feet, one woman, one fall, and a life that would never be the same again.